I'm gonna share with you in this video why I believe that we're literally gonna repeat the same lessons in life over and over and over and over and over until we finally learn the lesson. Now, of course, there's no actual objective lesson. It's kind of like we're creating the lesson and we're choosing to kind of create the resistance, and we can choose to not create the resistance if we don't want to. And we're all creating it, and it's all interconnected. So it's not like you're doing anything really that's outside of your control. Like, you're choosing all of it, and the story you're even constructing around it being a lesson is also a story that you're constructing and that I'm also partaking in as well. You know, we know that this whole journey is an illusion at this point. It's like, okay, but we're playing, you know? But the thing is that we can forget that it's play sometimes. And when you forget that it's play, that's when you're stuck in a lesson, okay? And you're gonna repeat that lesson over and over and over until you remember that you're here to play in whatever way you want, exactly how you want. That's exactly why you came here, to play exactly how it feels in resonance to you, while honoring the other as well automatically, because you're trusting. Because when we're in play, when you're truly in play, you're not there to screw with anybody else or to control anybody else, because you're playing, and you know that your play doesn't have to take away from anybody else's play. See, when we're in lack, we believe that in order to play, I need to take away from this person's play. And then that's a lack-based society, which is where we're kind of at right now for, a lot of the times. But we're shifting out of that right now, and I believe that, everything that's happening on the planet is part of that. But let's talk about lessons. Why we repeat the same lessons over and 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 over until we remember something about who we actually are, which we're going to talk about that in this video. It's going to be a very powerful video. So this is going to be if you're new to this channel, what I want you to do is I want you to hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell. Also, if you want to work with me one-on-one personally, hit the link that's in the description box of this video to apply for a free consultation. Now, what do I mean by lessons? Well, lesson, you got to understand, even the word lesson is a human construction. So understand that when we take some sort of a dense experience, we get out of that experience and we decide to call it a lesson, I want you to understand that's a human construction. That's not a bad thing though. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, it's a good construction. It's a good construction. It's an objectively good construction, if you want to see it in that way. Because the only way for reality to be the way that it is with this sort of play that we all have together. We play together. But when we forget that it's play, we think that we have to control that person's play in order to play how we want. And that's when the ego comes in, when the ego tries to control the other person energetically, action-wise. If it gets really intense, then you'll even try to harm the other person. But energetically right now, that's what's happening in society. You have less harming, but there's still harming, there's still war happening. It's not good or bad, but you gotta understand that it is a choice. It is a choice. So what I'm here to record in this video and what I'm here to talk about is to remind you of the fact that you do have a choice here on this planet at this time in terms of what energy you embody, how you show up, and what you choose to focus on. Okay, you do have a choice. You do have a choice. And so when we talk about lessons, well, let's talk about this. Well, I believe that every single human being that comes into our life is an opportunity for us to send unconditional love, okay, and to play. But you can't do it because you have to do it, it's because you want to do it. I'm in my life because I want to manifest from no lack. I want to create this new earth society from new lack, which I'm already creating it now by being it, right? Be the change that you want to see in the world, and that's when things start to actually happen. So it's important to be aware that this kind of shift that I believe is happening on the planet is so critical to be aware that sometimes we need to remember that we do actually have a choice. We do have a choice. So when you're letting that person control you because you're angry at them, you're choosing that. Just be aware of that. Take responsibility, okay? I believe that on the planet right now, we need to start to take responsibility for who we actually are. I do believe that there's a shifting consciousness happening, where we realize that we do have a choice to create our reality. We do have a choice. So if you want to give attention to all the news and all the negativity, you can do that. And there's no judgments. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with focusing on the news or to focus on these things. But if you create that reality, understand that you have a choice to create that reality, but you do not have to create that reality if you do not want to. And energy flows where attention goes. So by shifting your attention, in which you do have a choice, okay, to shift your attention, that choice that you're making to shift your attention to what you prefer to resonate with instead, you're now creating a new reality. And the moment you do that and you take back your power to shift your attention to what your heart truly wants in that moment, that's when I believe you've completed the lesson. There's so many times in my life where things would stay almost like in a repeating loop, and I would attract the same experiences, like within family or within business or within relationships. You can attract these same lessons until you finally realize that you're giving away your power, okay? And every human and soul is gonna have different lessons. For me, I always had different lessons coming up when it comes to, for example, everything I've ever manifested in my life, any success, any like next development in my evolution, like when I moved out of my parents' place to move into my own place, to become financially independent, to create the reality that I want, to when I started to make more money, when I started to become financially free, all these things that I started to manifest in my life always happened. Like when I leveled up in some way, when I chose to feel good and when I chose to create what is in resonance. And whenever I went against that resonance in my life, always I was stuck in some sort of loop of density until I realized that I don't have to be there anymore. And that's what I believe. Listen, can you relate to this? Comment down below if you can relate to this. Have you ever been stuck in some loop of density until you realized that you didn't have to be there, and then you chose to stop being there, and then that issue somehow fixed itself, or it faded out of your life? Maybe it was a friend. Maybe you believed you had to be with this friend. They were obviously causing a density in your heart. They obviously didn't resonate, and you said, you know what, I don't have to be here. And then you left. You didn't hold anger. You didn't have anything against the person. You didn't have anything. You just chose to focus on something else, and then they just faded out because that new version of you created that higher version of you. You stepped into that higher self version of you that's more loving. Have you had that experience before? Of course you have. I would love to hear your experiences. Comment down below. This is because I believe we are meant to expand as a spirit. We're always meant to expand. We're always shifting, we're always transforming, and we're growing into more loving versions of who we actually are, more connected versions of who we actually are, more expansive versions of who we are, more aware versions of who we are, that we're not just limited beings, that we're connected with infinite versions of who we actually are as the infinite creator of God, but that God is us. But because we know that we're all one, we're here to support each other in a way that honors the all. That's what I believe we're here to learn as souls. We get more and more and more in alignment with actual love, with an expression of the fact that there is infinite creation, and how can we embody that infinite creation in the most loving way that honors the all. That's what I believe, okay? And I believe that right now is exactly that's what's happening on the planet. And our souls, I believe that so many souls on the planet have done the inner work in previous lifetimes. That's what I believe. I believe that in previous lifetimes, we've already done the work. Now we're here to create the new earth by focusing on exactly what we want. No more sloppy vibrations. No more putting our attention to things that we don't actually want because we believe that we have to. No more of that. We are at the point now where we realize that it is a choice, okay? And when we choose to focus on negativity, we create more negativity, okay? Now, this isn't about not facing the shadows. This is about understanding that we're at a point in consciousness where we can either amplify what we want or amplify what we don't want. See, there might be a situation in your life where you've already learned the lesson, okay? You've already learned the lesson. It's time to move on. How do you let go of something? You move on, and then the old fades away naturally. It naturally fades away. You don't have to always even communicate it to those old friends. You could just focus on that new life and then they fade away as if they never existed, because they don't exist, because the external world doesn't exist. You create your reality, okay? You create your reality. Nobody exists. When you're in this moment, that reality doesn't exist unless you believe it does. It exists in your mind and it's there in the infinite timelines, but it's not relevant for you anymore at your stages, at your soul's journey, at that specific moment where you are. Have you ever noticed that when you shift into what resonates, the what that doesn't resonate falls away? And maybe you have a feeling, oh my gosh, maybe I need to go back there and fix it. No, you don't. Keep going. Move on. Okay? Just keep moving on. Isn't that what Dory said in Finding Nemo? Just keep moving. Just keep moving. Just keep moving. That's it. That's life. Okay, this is the new earth. Just keep moving to the next level and do not resonate. If something doesn't resonate, you notice you're at a level of consciousness where you can see that this thing is causing something that doesn't resonate with me. Not from fear, not from resistance. You just know that I don't want this. You're not resisting the resistance. You just know that you don't want to create more resistance, so you choose to focus on not resistance. Wow, who knew that life could be so obvious? That if something is causing resistance, and you're not in resistance to the resistance, from that place of awareness, you can shift to what resonates instead. Okay? And so, Francis, how do I complete the lessons in my life? This is how you do it. By remembering it's a choice. By remembering that you have the power to shift to what you want. Okay? And you can do that. You can do that. I am so grateful to have realized this, because I'm telling you, ever since I've done this, I'm not fucking kidding you, my anxiety is almost non-existent. And if it does come up, it's a learning lesson, and I define it as a lesson. I choose to define it as a lesson. You understand what I'm saying here? You have a fucking choice. You can decide to look back at that lesson and let it cause anxiety in your body. Oh, I'm creating that. Why would I choose that? But instead, you choose a perspective that causes gratitude in your heart. That's the new earth. We're rewriting the story consciously. Do you want to be a part of it? I would love to see you as a part of it. Comment down below if you are. So that's all I have for this video. If you resonated with this video, leave a like, leave a comment down below, share it with a friend. Also, if you want to work with me one-on-one personally, once again, feel free to apply for a free consultation in the description box of this video, and I'm more than happy to connect with you to see if I can support you on your journey to manifest what your heart actually wants, what's in resonance, not what people think that they want for you, but something that's in resonance with your heart. Okay, so if you want to potentially see if I can support you in that, then apply for that free consultation. So that's all I have for this video. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video.